So the first card you have for your past is the Sun. So this is a beautiful card, absolutely beautiful card. This is about freedom. That's what I'm seeing in this card. And I think at this time you might have been saying to yourself, I don't care what people think of me anymore. I used to think about what they thought of me or worry about what they thought of me, but now I don't. And I'm just going to do what I think's right for me, which is fantastic. And I think, this could have been a time when you just wanted to be yourself, and not just yourself. You didn't just want to be yourself, you wanted to be your best self. And so you had to kind of get rid of a whole lot of junk that was in your head that people had kind of put into your head to be your best self. You had to get this out of your head. So for a long time, you could have had some old voices in your head. Maybe these came from family members when you were growing up or something like that. I am seeing people kind of telling you what you should and shouldn't think, maybe what you should and shouldn't feel even. Which is really, it happens to a lot of people actually. And I'm seeing maybe you had a parent telling you something when you were a child, and they were kind of telling you something as fact. They were telling you a few things actually. And I think, as a child, you listened to this and maybe you didn't agree with what they said. You just thought to yourself, I don't think you said anything to them, but I think you thought, I don't really agree with that. I don't really agree. But, then you thought, well, maybe when I'm older, I might understand this, or I might agree with this when I'm older. And maybe it's because I'm young, I just don't understand. But now as an adult, you still don't agree. You still don't believe or agree whatever this was. And I think, this is about you kind of distancing your thoughts, distancing your own sense of self from what used to be. That's what I'm seeing here. And this is what's giving you this freedom. I'm not seeing you distancing yourself or disconnecting yourself from any of these family members physically. You might want to do that, but that's not what I'm seeing here. You might be distancing yourself maybe mentally. And this was like an acceptance that you're just two different people, or you're just separate from your family. You have different ideas, you have different mindset, you have different thoughts about things, you have a different heart, you're just different. And that's absolutely fine. That's absolutely fine. So, I think you were still around for these people, but you weren't an extension of them. And I think they always felt that you were an extension of them. And this is kind of a realization that you actually are not. And I think you knew that already, but I think you're kind of really very powerfully seeing that at this time. And I think this is what made you feel this freedom. That's what I'm saying. I hope that all makes sense. I hope that's not too kind of crazy sounding. The next card you have for your past is the Lovers. So yeah, this card is perfectly balanced. It's kind of the male and the female and the beautiful angel in the middle, and everything's balanced. The wings and the sun, everything's perfectly balanced. So this is what I'm seeing in this card, balance. Or I think at this time you might have been working toward getting some kind of balance. This could have actually been quite a healing time for you, because you were definitely healing from these old family thought patterns, these old beliefs that you used to have. But I think, once you had a taste of this feeling of freedom that this kind of separation was giving you, I think maybe you decided that you'd apply this to other areas of your life so that you can have this kind of full freedom. So I'm seeing actually, this is the Lovers, so I am seeing a love connection in this card. This might not have been a formal relationship, it might have been, but I'm seeing a little bit of, I'm not sure if it is or it isn't, because there is some distance or some separation or something like that in there. So maybe this is an ex, or maybe this is someone who you're kind of on and off again with or something, or you were at this time. I think this person could have been trying to come closer to you. Maybe you'd broken up and they were trying to come back, or maybe kind of you weren't sure what was going on. But I am seeing you might have had a barrier up between you and them at this time for some reason. Because, if you look at the man on this card, he's looking over at this woman and he's kind of thinking, wow, she's so beautiful. That's what I imagine he's thinking, because she is beautiful. But she's not looking at him, she's looking up to the angel. And so you weren't looking at this person, you were kind of distancing yourself a bit from them, creating some kind of a barrier between you and them. You weren't sure about them. You didn't know whether this was what you wanted. That's what I'm seeing. It was what they wanted. They were looking at you, but you weren't looking at them. You were kind of looking elsewhere, thinking about whether this was what you wanted. And yeah, the Lover's card can also be about decisions. So maybe you were thinking something like, yeah, if I want this person, if I accept this person, if I want this person around me, some things are going to have to change. So it wasn't like you wanted to change them. This was about the way that they might have treated you in the past, I'm seeing, because I'm actually seeing, yeah, there might have been more than one thing that you were unhappy about with this person, and it was quite serious. It was quite a serious thing. It wasn't like a little silly thing. So I think, you know, to keep this kind of free, positive kind of feeling around you that you're feeling, you had to kind of decide whether this person would be capable of changing, or whether they kind of wouldn't be capable of changing. This isn't to say that you were perfect or that you thought you were perfect. No one's perfect. There's always give and take in love, of course. But yes, they had done something quite serious or acted toward you in a way that was actually quite serious to you, and you wanted some change in them. That's what I'm seeing. But yeah, you had some big decisions to make. That's what the Lovers is about, because this is also about the Garden of Eden, and Eve made a choice, a decision. So this is about decisions as well. So that's what you had to do, make a decision about this person. So the last card you have for your past is the Seven of Pentacles. Yeah, so again, this is with this love connection. You know, it's like you were thinking, you know, this man's growing this bush or this money plant. I wish I had a money plant, but he's growing it, he's looking at it, and he's thinking, is this growing? What's happening with this? He's kind of looking back on it. So this is like you were thinking, you know, if I want this to grow, if I decide that this is what I truly want, if I want this person, I'm willing to put the work in. But are they willing to put the work in? That's what you might have been asking yourself. Are they willing to put the work in? I am, are they? That's what I'm seeing there. I think, you know, this person knew that they wanted to be with you. I could see that in the Lover's card. But, you know, it's one thing to know, and it's another thing to say, and it's another even more important thing to do. And I think that's what you wanted. You wanted them to show you that they wanted to be with you. Not just think, not just say, but show. You wanted to see it. You wanted them to prove it to you. That's what I'm seeing now. So the first card you have for your present is the Ace of Cups. Beautiful card. Very emotional card. So again, I'm seeing healing in this card. And I'm seeing that a bit in the Lover's card. And, you know, you're still healing from some of these negative things that you went through in your past, that were in your head. Now, this isn't an easy process, of course. This is kind of quite a difficult process. It's, you know, when you start letting things like that go, it's quite freeing in the beginning, but it can also feel a little bit strange sometimes. You know, when we let old patterns go, that might have been on our mind for a long, long time, maybe even years, it can feel sometimes as if we've left something behind and we're somewhere very foreign, very different, almost as if we're in a foreign country, feeling a little bit lost, you know, maybe having to learn a new language or something like that. But, you know, if you do have to learn a new language, this is going to be a much more authentic language that you do learn. This is the language of you. It's not someone else's language. It's not your parents' language. It's not your family's language. This is your language. This is unique to you. So it's an authentic language. So yeah, this is going to be a struggle, but it's definitely going to be really, really well worth it to get through this process. And, you know, there's a beautiful dove on this card. Obviously, this dove represents peace. But it needs to go through this cup. It needs to go through this cup first. It needs to go through the emotions. It needs to go through some tears. It needs to go through a lot of pain sometimes. And these tears, this emotion, and all of this water coming down is going to help you to grow into a much stronger person, and it's going to help you to bloom as well, because I'm looking at these beautiful water lilies at the bottom of all of this, and that's what's going to grow. And so it needs all of that difficulty, all of that struggle, everything to grow. And that's what you need to grow. You need to go through this process, even though it's hard, so that you can grow. That's what I'm seeing in the Ace of Cups. So the next card you have for your present is the Three of Wands. So yeah, obviously this is the waiting card. This is about waiting. So you might be waiting for this person in the Lovers card. You might be waiting for them to step up and maybe show you that they're actually serious. I think you might have actually had a conversation with this person about this. You might have told them that you want to see something, you want to see a certain thing coming from them. I'm not actually seeing a conversation, but I know that you're a straightforward person, so you're not the kind of person who would just keep people guessing and kind of sit around saying, oh, I wonder if they'll step up, but I won't tell them, I won't make that clear. You don't play games with people, you don't do that. So I think you probably have told them. I mean, you can be a bit mysterious sometimes. Come on, you can. But you do say what you think. You don't keep people guessing on things that are important. So that's what I'm seeing. So you might have had, you might have some kind of time limit attached to this. You might only wait for a certain amount of time. And then if they haven't stepped up by that time, then that's it. You've made your decision. I'm not seeing you being cruel to this person. I'm not seeing you putting any ultimatums on them or anything like that. But, you're not going to wait around forever. You're not going to wait around forever. I mean, you're just not going to do that. That's what I'm seeing. The last card you have for your present is the Two of Pentacles. So, yes, again, you're not going to wait forever into infinity. Here's this infinity symbol on this card. At some point, things are going to go one way or another way. And, I keep on seeing you having your own deadline around this. It's like you'll know when the time's up. You'll know when the time is ready for you to actually move one way or another way. And again, I'm seeing that you probably explained all of this to them or something like this, something about this to them. Again, I'm not seeing an actual conversation. But I am sensing this because of the kind of person that you are. You're a straightforward person. I'm seeing that again. I'm also seeing around this card, okay, now this might sound a bit strange, and I don't want to worry you either. Please don't worry about this. But maybe check your tires or the wheels on your car or something like that. I'm not seeing any accidents. I'm not seeing any terrible things happening. So again, please don't worry about this, but just check them, and also check what's around your tires. Check for anything that might cause a flat tire or something like that. Now again, I'm not seeing any terrible accidents, but just check, because I am just seeing something I'm seeing a kind of preventing a swerving, stopping a swerving, because I'm looking at these kind of wheels going up and down, and I just check that. Again, please, I really hate making people afraid. I don't want to make you afraid, but just check that, please. The first card you have for your future is the Page of Wands. So yeah, this pages are usually teenagers, and they're learning things. And this page is looking up to the top of this wand, and he's thinking, oh, I have a lot to learn. I'm looking up to where I want to grow, where I want to go. And I'm seeing that, your confidence is going to be growing. So as you go through this process, your emotions are still going to be a little bit up and down, of course. That's what I'm seeing again in the Two of Pentacles as well, and this as well. But each time you kind of jump over one of these hurdles, and you're going to have a few hurdles to jump over. You're going to grow out of these emotions, just as I was seeing what was happening in the Ace of Cups. You're going to kind of go through these kind of ups and downs emotionally, and then you'll grow out of that. I'm also seeing belonging in this card, belonging. You're coming out of a time where you felt that you didn't quite belong. This might have been around these family members, or it might have been around some other people who you really weren't feeling that connected to. There wasn't a lot of understanding coming from any direction with this group of people. So it's like, whoever this is, you weren't really quite understanding them. They weren't really quite understanding you. That's what I'm seeing. Because the page looks a bit of a misfit, actually. He's kind of dressed for winter, or this page, the Page of Wands is. And he's wearing a heavy scarf or a blanket around his shoulders, and he's wearing boots. So he's in the desert, though, which is hot. So he's not dressed for the occasion. He looks a bit out of place. So... you were feeling out of place, but you are going to be growing out of this. You're going to be growing out of this feeling. I'm not seeing you cutting people off, but you're just going to be spending more time with people who you truly connect with. You might even be meeting some new people at this time, because I'm seeing, I'm seeing the universe putting some new people in your life at this time, because this is going to be a time when you're going to be ready for them. You're going to be ready for a lot of new things at this time, actually. You're going to be learning some new things as well. And, this is really, really positive, actually. This is kind of a beautiful, positive growth that you're going to be going through at this time. After this Ace of Cups, here comes this growth. That's what I'm seeing. The next card you have for your future is the Nine of Pentacles. So, yeah, this is another really beautiful card. I love this card. The woman in this card, if you look at her, she's just so content. She's so happy. She has everything she needs, but she doesn't have any people around her. She's by herself. And yeah, she's happy to be alone. She's happy to be by herself. And you might realize that this person in the Lovers card just isn't going to step up. Or it might be that you just come to realize that it's just not worth it. You'd rather be by yourself. And, you're going to be a lot stronger in yourself. I'm seeing that definitely, because you would have been through a lot of this process by this time. And you'll probably just be happy by yourself for a while. Not forever, but just for now, I think. And, this woman's also holding a falcon in her hand. Now, falcons are hunters. But this hunter, this bird, isn't flying away. It's not going to hunt for anything at this time. It's not interested in hunting. It looks very happy. It's around this woman and it's just very content. It's sitting there looking at her, very happy. So, you're not going to be interested in hunting. You're not going to be interested in looking for love at this time. You're just happy to be by yourself. So, yeah, this is really good, actually. You're going to know yourself at this time. You're going to be more confident at this time. And you're just going to be getting back to your full strength, getting back to yourself properly at this time. And, you will meet someone at some time, but it's going to be at the right time for you. And this isn't the right time. You're happy by yourself at this time. That's what I'm seeing. So the last card you have for your future is the Five of Pentacles. So, yes, I'm sorry to say this, but this is probably how this person is going to be feeling for a while, because I think, you weren't ready to accept them or something, or you either decided that they weren't going to step up, or that you just thought it wasn't worth it. You just didn't want to be with them anymore. You weren't interested anymore. It's, one or the other thing I'm seeing, and they're going to be feeling quite left out, quite down for a while. So, yeah. This is what's going to happen if this all resonates and you've decided to stay on your own and not to be with that person. And, again, you're not a cruel person. I'm sure, when you tell them this, you're kind, you're going to be kind, you're going to be fair with them. And, but this is what you're doing. And of course, even if you are fair or kind, it's not easy. Heartbreak's never easy. It's never easy being told no, even if it's in a kind way. It never is. yeah, it's not going to be easy for this person. It's not going to be easy for you either, I'm seeing. You care about this person, but prolonging things, stringing things along, or pretending everything's fine or whatever is even more unfair. And I think you know that. And I know that as an Aries. I mean, I know that I need to just speak out and say the truth. If I don't want to be with someone, I need to just tell them. I don't want to kind of string people along. I don't want to be cruel. I don't want to be horrible to people, but people need to be told. And I think that's what you're realizing at this time. They need to go on their own journey. That's what I'm seeing. And you knew that. But I'm seeing that they'll probably call you a few times after this. There's going to be there'll be phones ringing, text pinging, things like that, noises, because there's a bell around this boy's neck, and he's trying to call out, he's trying to be heard. So this person's going to try and reach out to you quite a few times by phone, by text. I know this is really sad, but this is what I'm seeing. There's no point in staying around if you're only going to prolong the agony. I know this is very sad, especially for this other person. And cross watchers, I just have to say this isn't necessarily about you. So please don't be angry. I just had to say that.